Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an extremely entertaining article titled, I swiped through 10,000 profiles in 1 year, what was the outcome? And guys, to absolutely no surprise, this article is written by a woman, and she is going to share her experience of a experiment she conducted of going through 10,000 dating profiles, and the result after 1 year going through that many, how many dates she ended up going on, how many second dates, etc., etc. And when you see the results of this, it is just going to make you just lose your minds. Just to show you how picky the gals are today. 10,000 profiles. And when you see the results, it's unbelievable. And I'm doing this aside from the entertainment factor because, contrary to what a lot of you guys may want to say in the comment sections, a lot of you guys do date and relationships and all that. And I want to show you what you're dealing with in today's world. As if many you don't already know. And as any wonder, so many guys have checked out and said, this is just ridiculous, I'm done. And it's funny because whenever people have too many choices, they can't make up their mind. Hence, a above average gal can have unlimited options thanks to all the attention she gets on social media and all that, and also the dating options from the dating profiles, can't make up their mind and can go through 10,000 and can barely find any guys to go out with, right? It's like literally, I've compared before when you're sitting down to have some lunch on a Sunday and you're in front of the TV and you're looking to find what you want to watch, and you have so many options to choose from Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus if you do Disney Plus, and then your regular cable, and you're sitting there clicking the button for 30 minutes trying to find something to watch. Meanwhile, your food's getting cold, multiple trips to the microwave, and you can't make up your mind. It's kind of the same thing. And yet, these gals all complain there are no good men out there. 10,000 people, you can't find a good guy. If someone can't do that, something's wrong with them, not guys. But anyhow, I thought this would be a fun one to go over here. So it starts off, she says, I conducted a year-long online dating experiment. Here are the results. Many of us give online dating a try, especially during the pandemic. What other ways do people have to meet others when everyone stays at home and isolates? Around a third of the population explored dating apps in 2020. It is a popular way to date, and everyone has very different results. I decided to give myself a year to online date in 2020, and I recorded all the numbers and made notes along the way. I certainly had more than a few face-to-face dates, and I would like to share my experience with you. And as I said, guys, let me tell you, this is definitely an experience. This article features my successes, failure, and what I noticed during the year. I would also like to state that my intentions were genuine, and I didn't treat any man I encountered as a part of the experiment. Ready? Let's go. I'm going to interrupt there and say her intentions were genuine. Well, I know the results of this, obviously, and let me tell you, they're anything but genuine. The dating app of my choice was Bumble. And she says, no, it's not sponsored. Please keep that in mind that many numbers are rounded up for the context. Profiles reviewed, 10,000. I didn't explicitly count the numbers of online profiles I looked through, but I estimated to be about 10,000 in 1 year. Is this a lot? Indeed it is. It's a huge number, but there's a reason I reviewed so many. Yeah, 10,000 is a lot of freaking people. If you put 10,000 people in a giant auditorium, that's a lot of people. Just to put that into context. She says, unfortunately, most of the profiles I encountered were quite underwhelming. Gee, imagine that. I don't want to say they were bad, but sadly, many were unappealing. It has nothing to do with those men's personalities. Hopefully, most of them are decent people, and they surely deserve love. However, the lion's share of what I saw didn't attract my attention at all. The lion's share didn't attract her attention. Now, I'm sure there are obviously dudes that have bad profiles. And that's good, bad is subjective, Some people think someone should have tons of pictures and just a laundry list, a giant, plenty of explanations about who they are, blah, 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 and what they want. I mean, everybody's different what they expect. But holy crap, wait till you hear this. She says, here is the representation of most of the men I saw online. This is her saying most. They put very little or no effort into their bio. Well, again, define little effort. To some people, short and sweet. To other people, they want a whole novel. Didn't answer any questions or answer them with few words as ask me phrase. Translation, they just wanted to talk. Had only one picture. Some guys think one picture's enough. Had horrible quality photos up to the point you couldn't see their faces properly. Okay, I can give her that one. Didn't enter in much information about themselves, such as job title, education history, interest in having children, etc. Notice you put those. Job title, status and how much you make. Education history, status and what you could potentially make with your education history. And interest in having children, do you want to settle down and marry me? Those are the bases. They had a toilet selfie or a close-up photo of their face while laying in bed, or some other unappealing photo as their main profile picture. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's plenty of clueless dudes that would take a picture of them on the hopper, or a awful selfie where they're laying in bed, sure. But I have a very hard time believing that there are plenty of good profiles out there. Just a dude took one picture, kept it short and sweet in the profile, and that's that. But she's just being psychotically picky. Of course, not every man I saw fit into the category, but around 65% of online dating profiles fit the description above. I just couldn't swipe right on them. So 65% of 10,000 immediately just nope. They weren't good enough for her, just like that. Why not invest 10 minutes of your life and create a somewhat decent profile? Especially when the end goal is to find someone and preferably start a relationship. My standards aren't crazy high. Really? Are you sure you didn't want to go back and rewrite that part? My standards aren't crazy high, but I don't feel like matching with someone who didn't think it was important enough to spend 10 minutes on. Therefore, I swipe left on around 6,500 online profiles. Again, what you think should be a good amount, other people might think is way too much. Next, she says, sadly, around 15% of the overall 10,000 men also fit the following description. Some said something aggressive in their biography, such as, don't waste my time if you don't want to talk, or don't match with me if you're playing games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but gals out there kind of do the same thing. Or wrote something that can be construed as demeaning to women, such as, if you're a woman who can't hold a conversation, swipe left, or not looking for a gold digger. Well, given how things are nowadays, you can't blame them for saying that. Another one had very different views compared to my own, as potentially a anti-vaxxer, very conservative, pro-gun, etc. I mean, I live in Canada. What guns would these guys even talk about? Okay, people are going to have differences. I get that, but still. Next one, didn't have a job or education, and simply I didn't like. They didn't seem like my type. Well, okay, I get the whole you don't have a job thing. Fair enough. But education, define education. Call it bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. You know how many dudes out there don't have college degrees and have a trade or own their own business because they dropped out of school right here and do extremely well? Due to that, I rejected another 1,500 more profiles. Profiles swipe right on 2,000. So 80% now weren't good enough for her. That's 8,000 dudes that wasn't good enough for her. This continues. We went from 10,000 to 2,000 rather quickly. But let me be honest, I'm a very open-minded person, and I didn't reject men for no reason at all. Yeah, sure, honey. You're very open-minded. I can see that. 8,000 dudes weren't good enough. 80% so far. Next, did the guy have a half-empty profile and not too many pictures, but seemed like someone I might enjoy talking to? Swipe right. Different religion? Swipe right. Different ethnicity? Swipe right. To the right we go. Different hobbies? Question mark. That's okay. I'll teach him mine, and he'll teach me his. To the right. To the right. At some point, I decided to do a reality check and talk to my girlfriends about being too harsh on guys. She's going to seek the advice of other women about being too harsh on guys, given today's world. Let's see how this goes. I presented them with examples of men I agreed to match with, and all of them told me that I'm too nice and they wouldn't swipe right on many of them. Well, there you go. I was sincerely trying to give a lot of the guys a chance and match with them, but the bar can't be too low by the end of the day. I felt like I wasn't shallow and did my best to keep an open mind while exploring Bumble. Lady, you are about as far away from an open mind as possible. Holy crap. Next, number of matches, 700. Out of about 2,000 men I swiped right on, I matched with 700 of them. It was a decent result, and I have no idea with someone not liking my profile. To each their own, you know. If you used Bumble before, you know that women have to message men first. If a woman doesn't message the guy, the match will expire in 24 hours. To be honest, the reason I chose Bumble was exactly for that reason. I've exceeded the maximum level of patience related to nude pictures and creepy messages people sent me via other dating platforms. Therefore, Bumble was a good choice for me. Now, the people who replied to her, 100. So she sent a message to 700 dudes and only 100 responded. Now, let me tell you, that's got to say something, in my opinion, about what she doesn't say what she wrote, and I don't know what she looks like, but that may also say something because, generally speaking, if a guy is having a girl message them, it's going to get their attention because, let's be honest, it's way harder for guys to get the attention from the gals than vice versa. Or the type of guy she went for, where, wait for it, the top percent, and they got plenty of other chicks after them, so it's like they're like, hey, whatever. So 100 dudes replied to her, and now here we go. She says, one thing I noticed was that not everyone replied to your messages. In my opinion, there could be numerous reasons for that. Number one, they reviewed your profile and changed their mind. Number two, they didn't look at your profile initially and made a decision based on your picture. And then after matching, they looked at what you wrote and decided not to pursue a conversation. Number three, they already started talking to someone else and didn't wish to engage in another conversation. We're talking about guys here. If it's a good-looking woman that contacts them, believe me, they're going to talk to 10 different hot chicks if they can. Come on. Number four, they didn't use the app often enough and let matches expire. Well, she forgot number five. They took one look at her picture and what she said and was like, no way. She neglected to put that in there. She said, I had no issue with men who matched with me but didn't reply to my messages. No worries, there's plenty of fish in the sea. But it was interesting to observe the tendencies of online dating and other people's behaviors. Next, decent conversations, 25. So far, we've out of 10,000 people, she said 25 people with quote-unquote decent conversations via messaging. 25 out of 10,000. Having a good conversation with my matches was probably the biggest challenge. I'm not sure why, but not everyone is good at messaging. Well, a lot of people hate doing that over the message. They'd rather talk in person, like normal people do, or like normal people once did. I don't want to assume it's men who struggle with that, but I had so many instances of me carrying the conversation and they were slightly frustrating. Well, maybe the dudes weren't really into you. I feel like it's obvious if the other party isn't putting in a lot of effort into telling you, asking you questions, or move to texting and meeting in person. They aren't interested. I'm not particularly eager to sugarcoat things, which is why I easily let go of individuals who didn't wish to create a connection and get to know me. By the end of the day, 25 or so excellent conversations, I made up for all the awkward ones. Now, number of first dates. Can you guess? 6. 6 first dates out of 10,000 swipes. She says, so I reviewed 10,000 profiles and ended up meeting 6 people for the second date. Actually, she messed up. It's the first date. Is that a lot? Not really. But is it reasonable? Considering I only had 25 good interactions on Bumble, I believe so. Unbelievable. I know plenty of people that do online dating, both men and women. And let me tell you something. This is just truly absurd. Which is obviously why this article got attention and was noticed. Out of those 6 dates, here are the real life profiles of men that I met. Listen to this. Number 1, an extremely boring accountant who didn't want to connect emotionally, didn't answer personal questions, and was probably bored with me too. Gee, there's an idea. Believe me, if the accountant was bored with you, that says something. Number 2, a guy whose mentality was drastically different despite having a nice conversation online and whose life goals didn't align with me. Maybe he met you and he was turned off, so therefore his mentality was drastically different. Number 3, I generally liked a very nice and sweet guy, but he was more interested in starting a new business than seeing me for the second date. So he got rejected. Maybe it sounds like one of my guys that watch me here. He's more interested in his purpose, starting a business, than actually dating. Number 4, a man whose mentality and life experiences matched my own, who also seemed to be on the same wavelength, but who sadly ghosted me after that date. Believe me, if she had a certain level in the looks department and body type department, then the odds are the guys would pursue. But if she has something about her personality, hint, hint, obviously why she was probably ghosted. And these dudes probably had other options. Number 5, a very shy young man and who I had zero connection with or anything in common and whom I tried to feel comfortable the entire date. At number 6, the guy who received an award for being my worst date ever, who spent most of the date talking about his unrealistic dreams and didn't even bother to remember my name. Also one person. So, I should probably write down all my dating experiences before I forget them. Maybe I should consider writing a book. That's a possibility too. I bet many people who would like to relate to my negative experiences. Number of second dates? 0. And there you have it. 10,000 swipes. 10,000 dudes she went through profiles on Bumble and 0 second dates. You cannot tell me that she isn't too picky. You can't tell me she isn't too demanding and something is definitely off with her. Unless this was her goal all along, to give her an excuse to write an article. Welcome to today's dating world, gentlemen. She says, unfortunately, despite giving myself an entire year to connect with people online and meeting them for the first time, it didn't bear any fruits. It was an interesting experiment, and I generally gave online dating a try, but it hasn't yielded any results. No, you didn't. 6 dudes on a date with out of 10,000, that is not trying. Come on here. Own it. You're psychotically picky. In conclusion, I don't regret investing so much time and energy into this dating venture. It taught me some lessons, and I'm grateful for this. Grateful for this experience. It wasn't a waste of time per se, but I feel like we could have explored other dating mediums. Lady, you could go to all the other dating apps out there and you're going to have the same results because you yourself haven't changed. You're psychotically picky. But it's not like she's alone. Those either do online dating know darn well, or dating in general nowadays. The laundry lists are so long, it's just beyond psychotic. Maybe I should get a flag saying I'm single and eligible and wave it off the CNN tower. I shall consider it. But for the time being, I'm comprehending how last year went for me and trying to extrapolate useful life lessons to share with others. The end. So, if this girl sounds like somebody you guys may find attractive and appealing, let me know, and I'll send you the contact information for her for the article. But no, actually, I don't want you contacting her. Just kidding. But anyhow, guys, I wasn't exaggerating. 10,000 profiles, 0 second dates. And even out of that, 6 first dates. And every single one of them, she had issue with. And yet you hear all the complaints all the time. There are no good men. Where are all the good men out there? There's great men everywhere. Not all men are the type that are complained about, that cheat on them, hurt them, lie to them, do all these awful things. No. Most guys are good guys out there, but the standards have gone through the roof, and this is what you get. And again, is any wonder why so many guys just throw their hands up and they say, I'm not going to bother with this, because they're also psychotically picky. And what's going to happen is that in decades to come, these same gals are going to be the ones crying that they don't have a husband, that they don't have children, they don't have the life they had hoped for and envisioned for themselves. And then more and more complaining about men. And then what they'll do is suddenly wake up one day in their 40s and say, you know what? I have a long list, but I'm picky, but I know my worth. And will now become proud that they're single and it's by their own hand in terms of that's what they wanted. Not actually that's just how things have gone because they're too picky. You know what I mean? They'll find a way around it. And by the way, the video I'm going to do later today, actually tonight, because I'm going to be publishing it this afternoon, is going to deal with a woman in her 40s. It's just that. I think you guys will definitely like it. But anyhow, guys, welcome to today's world, especially you younger guys that are just starting out there. Have a blast. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. In fact, please comment below. I really want to hear your comments about this one. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.